Hi guys, this is John in Japan. Welcome to my world-renowned Genki 1 grammar course. In this video, I'll be covering Chapter 2, Lesson 1, kore, sore, are, and dore. If you haven't seen the 1-1 video, you're missing out. Okay, check it out for this course's overview and how to make the most of the course. It will definitely help you, so go back and view that one if you haven't seen it yet. Also, if you haven't watched the previous lesson, do that first because we're going to review it now. Okay, so review quiz. Let's take a look at the first example. 彼女は日本語 something 学生ですか? 彼女は日本語 something 学生ですか? Is she a student of Japanese? Okay, and one more. ここは月面 something 基地です。ここは月面 something 基地です。This is a lunar surface base. Okay, so what goes in the blank? It's a no. Okay, so 彼女は日本語の学生ですか? Is she a student of Japanese? ここは月面の基地です。This is a lunar surface base. Okay, so let's move on and review the meaning of no. Okay, so no is loosely the what particle in Japanese? It's loosely the possessive particle, okay? So 私のカバン my bag. 彼の犬 his dog, okay? So it's possessive particle loosely because it has other functions as well. Okay, so in the structure, noun 1, no, noun 2. No gives noun 1 what qualities? It gives noun 1 adjectival qualities. Okay, so in the examples from last week's lesson, ここは月面の基地です. Lunar surface is kind of an adjective in this sense. It functions like an adjective and it modifies the word kichi base. Okay, so that's all the review for this one. Okay, so let's jump into the main part of the lesson. Okay, so chapter 2, lesson 1, kore, sore, are, and dore. Okay, so this set of words, kore, sore, are, dore, is the first set of ko, so, a, do words that we'll look at in this course. Okay, there is a plethora of ko, so, a, do words in Japanese, and this is just one of those sets. They all have something in common, which is what I'm going to show you in the next section. Okay, so here we have ko, so, a, do words. Okay, so what do they have in common? Ko indicates proximity to the speaker. Okay. So indicates proximity to the listener. A indicates distance from both the speaker and the listener. And do indicates a question to be answered with words starting with ko, so, or a. Okay. So now let's look at the actual words that we're going to learn this time, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Okay. So kore, sore, are, dore correspond respectively to this thing, that thing over there, and which thing. Okay. So kore corresponds to this thing, okay? This thing. So, ko, which I told you about up here, indicates proximity to the speaker, and then re indicates that we're talking about a thing. So, kore, this thing. Does that make sense? Okay, same here with sore as well. So, sore is that thing near you, or that thing that you're holding. Remember, so indicates proximity to the listener. Re indicates that we're dealing with a thing. So, sore, that thing with you, okay? Same thing here. A indicates distance, right? So are is that thing over there, away from both of us. Okay, so distance from both the speaker and the listener. So you would point far away and you would say are. Okay, that would be that thing over there. Okay, and then the last one, do, indicates a question, right? So dore indicates what? Which thing in English. Okay, which thing. Okay, and this is usually answered with kore, sore, or are. Okay, so which thing? Dore desu ka? これです. It's this. Which thing どれですか? それです. It's that. Which thing どれですか? あれですよ. It's that thing over there. Okay? So it's pretty straightforward. And what you'll see with other koso ado words is that the second half of the word here is different. And sometimes it's 2 characters. It can be 2 characters in total or 3 characters in total. The second half will be different, but the koso ado remains the same. Okay, so just keep these rules in mind. Even in the next lesson, guys, we're going to cover a different set of these, so definitely you want to memorize this information here. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Okay, so let's look at the first one. So, これは ikura desu ka? これは ikura desu ka? How much does this cost? Okay, so これ, this thing は, okay, we talked about this in the first lesson, I believe. いくら, how much desu ka? It's a question, right? How much does this cost, okay? One thing to note here is that in English, you can say this to refer to an object that you're holding, right? So say you're holding a book, you can say this. You don't have to say book, you can just say this is mine, or this is my favorite possession, or whatever you want to say, right? But you can also say, with the same word this, you can say this book belongs to me, this book. So you can attach this to the noun book and explain it in that way. In Japanese, if you want to do the second thing, this book, you actually have to use a different kosoado word. Okay, so when you use kore, you're just talking about the thing, but you're not attaching kore to the specific noun that you want to refer to. Okay, so be careful about that. And we'll look at the other words that you'll use in that situation in the next lesson, so don't worry too much about that. Okay, so let's move on. それはゼルダですか? それはゼルダですか? Is that Zelda? So here, the person is probably holding the video game, or maybe it's very near to the listener. Okay, so we can use それ because remember, そ indicates proximity to the listener. Okay, next one. あれは自由の女神像ですか? あれは自由の女神像ですか? I'll say that one more time. I kind of messed up. あれは自由の女神像ですか? Okay, so is that over there the Statue of Liberty? Okay, so here we're pointing to something kind of far away. Okay, far away from both of us. あれ, right? And 自由 is freedom. No, we know no. Megami is goddess, and then zo is statue. So it's actually the goddess of freedom statue. That's the way the Japanese refer to the Statue of Liberty. So, あれは自由の女神像ですか? Is that over there the Statue of Liberty? Okay, and last one, we covered this a little bit already. どれですか? Which one is it? Okay, so obviously this needs some context to make sense, but you get the point. Okay, so let's move on to listening comprehension. So I will play 6 short clips from the following shows: Bleach, Nihon Chinbotsu, and Crayon Shin-chan. Unfortunately, I was only able to get clips with kore and sore, so please listen for those two, and see if you can catch them. Here we go.
あ、これなんだ?
これも挑発。
なんでそれ?
見ろよこれ。
会長、これは。
それ、去年のビンゴで当たったネクタイですね。
All right, how did you guys do? Let's take a look at what we just heard. Okay, so this is the first example we heard. これなんだ? これなんだ? Okay, as you can see here, there is a missing particle. Okay, so you could say は、これはなんだ, but it's often removed in casual speech. Okay, so これなんだ? Huh, what's this? Okay, so なんだ, what? Very casual way of saying what. And これ is this. Okay, is just like, huh? Yeah, so これなんだ? Huh, what's this? Okay, next one. これも挑発. これも挑発. Okay, 挑発 is provocation. これ this, and も is also. So in this case, we're actually referring to a person's behavior, which you would see if you actually watch the whole episode of Bleach. But it's important to note that kore, it doesn't just refer to concrete things like a table or a book. It can also refer to abstract things. Okay, so in this case, a person's behavior, which is provocation. これも挑発. Okay. Next one. あははなんだよそれ. あははなんだよそれ. Okay, so あはは is just like haha, and なんだよ what, and then それ what's that. Okay. Here, それ is tagged on at the end, which is also very common in casual speech. You could say それはなんだよ. それはなんだよ. Okay, you could put それ at the beginning of なんだよ, put a wa between it to mark it as the topic, and then add なんだよ. That would be very grammatically correct. But in conversation or in speech, this is very, very common to tag それ or これ on at the end, which you'll see in the next example as well. Okay, so 見ろよこれ. Okay, 見ろよこれ. Look at this. Okay, once again, tagged right on at the end. You could say これを見ろよ. これを見ろよ. But don't worry too much about that yet. That uses a particle that you haven't learned just yet. Okay, next one. 隊長、これは... Okay, Captain, this is... Yeah. The person didn't finish their sentence. 隊長, Captain, yeah. これは... As for this... ... That type of thing, right? Okay, and last one. それ、去年のビンゴで当たったネクタイですね. Okay, so that's the tie. That's the tie you won in bingo last year, isn't it? Okay, so... Kyonen, last year, no. We know no. Bingo. Bingo. De, this refers to a place where an action takes place or an event takes place. Don't worry about that too much yet. And then atatta is like one in this case. Necktie is tie. So they do say necktie in Japanese, not tie. ですね. So isn't it? Yeah, so それ、去年のビンゴで当たったネクタイですね. Okay, so that's the tie you won in bingo last year, isn't it? Okay, so we have lots of examples of これ and それ. Please listen one more time and see if you can catch them.
あ、これなんだ?
これも挑発。
なんでそれ?
見ろよこれ。
会長、 これは
それ去年のビンゴで当たったネクタイですね。
All right, let's move on to the lesson comprehension quiz. Okay, so I mixed up the order from today's examples. Okay, so let's see. Blank wa jiyu no megamizo desu ka? Is that over there, the Statue of Liberty? Okay, so which word goes here? Remember, distance from both the speaker and listener. So it's got to be are. Okay, so are wa jiyu no megamizo desu ka? Okay, moving on. Next one. Blank wa ikura desu ka? So how much does this cost? Okay, so here we're using a word that refers to proximity to the speaker, correct? So it's got to be これはいくらですか? How much does this cost? Okay, in the next one, let's see. Is that Zelda? Blank wa Zelda desu ka? Blank wa Zelda desu ka? In this case, let's just imagine that Zelda is near the listener, or perhaps they're holding the video game. Okay, so it's got to be something that indicates proximity to the listener, which means it's a それ. Okay, それはゼルダですか? それはゼルダですか? Is that Zelda? Okay. And final one. This is a question, right? Blank ですか? So we know it's got to be どれ, right? Because ど indicates a question. Alrighty guys, that is all for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave comments and questions. Help me improve this course if you can. And I'll see you guys in the next one. またね.